You're listening to the Things of That Nature podcast. Coming to you from Denver, the Mile High City, is me, your host, Rockshana. I invite you to join me for truly honest, passionate, and fun talks that motivate, invigorate, and maybe inspire. When you're ready in the Mile High, the sky's the limit. Everything and anything goes. So let's start talking about things of that nature. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Things of That Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rockshana, and today I have with me an author. Now, once upon a time, not long ago, no, I'm not even gonna go there, but once upon a time, a while ago, when I was younger, I had said to myself, third grade, I was in Miss Gagney's class at St. Anne's, all the way in Bridgeport, Connecticut, so there's that. And I was like, I like writing. And she would always, that's when you start doing the different styles of writing, persuasive, fiction, nonfiction. And I was like, I want to be a writer. And then, of course, fifth grade happened and sixth grade, and I started dancing more. And I was like, I want to be a dancer. And then I got into eighth grade, and I was like, ooh, I want to be a dance journalist. And all through high school, and that just changed to I'm just a dancer. So writing didn't come. But today I have a writer with me here. Hi, Robert.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So Rober DeFinis. Did I say it correctly?
That is correct. You got it.
What does the F stand for in your name?
It's Francis, actually, which I love, absolutely love. But I always, there's a bunch of Roberts, so I've taken Robert. So we have a Robbie, we have Bob's. So I took Robert, and I used my middle initial because we're not like first or second or thirds. We all have different middle names. So I love my middle name, so I always try to put it in there.
I hear you on that. If you were to be a ghostwriter, would you go by like Francis?
You know, I never thought about it. That would be something that's interesting. You know, something you just said that just resonated with me, and I absolutely love it, is you said, you know, you started out and you're like, you know what, I want to be a writer, and then I want to be a dancer, and then I want to be, I hate that we're always boxed into something, or we're kind of labeled as to what our profession is. I just started writing in the children's genre. I always wanted to write a children's book. I've been doing academic writing for a long time. So I wear these like multiple hats. And when people come to me and say, well, you know, I thought you'd do this. Well, I do that. I do many things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's okay. And I don't think we should shy away from that. I think we should, if you love dancing, why can't you love writing?
That is true. I have a hard time making a business card because I wear so many hats, and I'm like, I don't know what to put on my business card.
Well, I'll tell you what you put on. You're an entrepreneur. If you are in so many things, I even refer to myself as a social entrepreneur, because the things that I love to do also contribute to the social well-being of things that I'm passionate about. So it's not just about making money for myself. It's also, how can I make money and then also, you know, provide a little good to my community or society? So I think if you came to me and you said, you know, what should I put on my business card? I do a half a dozen things. To me, you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to steal the social entrepreneur. I'm going to sit on that.
I wish I came up with it, but the fact of it is there's tons of people out there that are, you know, they have ideas, they have creativity, but they have also subscribed to the idea that they can put that to good use and maybe highlight or promote a cause.
Right. Oh, I like that. You're the first that I've heard it from, and it resonates very well with me. Now I'll make business cards.
I didn't mean to put something else on your plate, though.
That's like story of my life. I think of one thing, and then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that. And then a new idea pops in my head. I'm like, no, this is what needs to happen.
I think we can do, like I said, I think it's about balance. We can do a lot of different things. I know the creative, you sound like it. And even with this podcast and the things you're involved with, you're a creative mind. So the creatives were always like, this. And sometimes we have a little bit difficulty taking the project over the goal line, you know? It's true. We have like all these like projects and all these ideas, but like getting them complete. So I think for myself, I have to surround myself with like mentors and people that are like, okay, but I'm going to hold you accountable. This is a great idea, but how can you get it in the hands of people? How can you make it happen? And so I don't mind having a half a dozen things kind of in the universe, but it's also about getting it finished.
Yes. That was my problem for a while. And then I got a mentor / business coach. And then I got someone to hold me accountable. And that accountability changed so much because you're right. I would follow it through to the end. I'm like, oh, okay, now we'll move. This is why I would move on. This is the right stage to move on to the next thing.
Right.
So where did writing come from? Were you always writing stories?
Not really. So I go back and I try to remember, obviously an advocate for reading. One of my side passions is making sure children have books and the availability and access to books. But I go back and I think to myself, I really wasn't a great reader up until about probably 5th grade. And then once I started to, get better at sitting down and reading text and I gravitated towards certain types of literature. I became one of those kids who just, who did have a book in their hand or in their room or at night before bed, and I was reading a chapter, but it happened a little bit later. So I don't remember actually writing, but I can say that as I went through high school and college, the academic side of writing was always there. And then when I went on for my dissertation to get my doctorate degree. That's a tremendous amount of writing, and it's all academic. It's all research-based. And I do remember after I was done and I finished and defended my dissertation, I said, I'm not writing for a long time. And to be honest with you, reading, I was done reading journals and articles and books. And I said, I need a little bit of time. And I spent probably another year, and I didn't touch any of the projects that I was working on. And only more recently, in the last 2 years, I've decided to kind of get back in and finish some of the projects and ideas that I had. I had been working on 2 children's books that are personal to me. And then this came. And this topic, writing about the coronavirus and how children can empower themselves to take a little bit of action and not feel like they have nothing to contribute. And it kind of came quick. We were in lockdown with my children, and we started kind of playing around with, the Corona Monster. And the idea came, started to put some illustrations, some words, talk to some of the people that are in my networks that are in the literacy space on what they thought. And the book came about. Now, it's interesting because the topical matter came about because of what society was dealing with. It wasn't the 2 original thoughts and projects and passions that I was dealing with, and this took precedent, and it's taken off. It's been really cool, but I think it also has given me the opportunity to revisit the fact that I do like writing. It's writing is therapeutic, right? Writing can be educational, persuasive. And I like the creative side of it, because now that I'm doing illustration, now that I'm writing, I can put all my pieces to it and try to get it in the hands of readers. And that's been the most important thing for me.
Oh, that's neat. So when you say you're writing, I haven't seen the children's book just yet. So when you say you're writing a children's book, is it like short story? Like what age range are you aiming for?
So the current project that I released it in April. It's how to fight the icky, creepy, filthy, slimy corona monster. And it's really about, exposing children to the idea that they can empower themselves to do something at this time. Like, wash your hands, cover your cough and sneeze. A new topic, which is social distance for some children, creating a little bit of space, being respectful to that. So the age for this really, it's funny because the book is written in rhyme, and the illustration probably is more geared to 2 to 7-year-olds. But I've had a lot of adults that have said, this would really be good for my 15-year-old who never washes their hands, right? So the intent was younger, but I think something really cool about children's books, and this is just for me, I have thousands of children's books, and I love reading them. There's message, there's story, there's something anybody can kind of take away from. So I don't think, even though children's books are sometimes, geared towards an age group, I think just any adult can pick one up and be reminded of an important message.
That's true. I do find myself looking at some children. I mean, I'm still like 12, really, but
we all are people.
I do find the moments whenever I go back home to my parents' house, because my mom has a large shelf with all of my old books, and they're just sitting there waiting for me to touch them. And I do find myself just sitting there. Oh, I remember this book. This was fun. Reminiscing.
Right. I'm glad that she held on to them, because I've held on to them too. And I love revisiting them. I find myself now that I am in the children's author space when I'm at the bookstore, or even when I'm online, I'm just kind of what's new, what's, everything that's going on in the world. There are writers that are speaking to that, and they have messages and things that they want to share with young people. And I think it's important.
Mm-hmm. And it's in a fun way, and it doesn't scare anyone. Like, a kid's book has really cute pictures, bright, and like the kids aren't scared, but also it's helping them understand.
Correct. It's inviting, right? Anytime we want to be in discussion about anything, we want to be inviting to the topic, and definitely children's books allows us to do that. And my other 2 books, they're kind of passion projects. What I say about that is my daughter, she'll be entering kindergarten this year. So I had been working on a first day book for her, and not just for her, but to get out, but like the message, would be broader in scope. And it's interesting because I had been working on that for about 9 months, and now, school's going to look a lot different in the fall. So I'm going back and revisiting some of the story and some of the illustrations to try to mesh better with what will kindergarten look like in 2020. So I'm working on that, and that's coming along, and I like the way it's going. So I'm hoping that'll hit at least Amazon by August 1st. And I'm working also on a sports book series for children that introduces them to new sports and trying new sports and not being scared to try new things. And it's a 4-part series, and I'm starting with baseball, and it's called Dexter and Dalton Play Baseball. And they're 2 buddies who sign up for baseball their first time, and they go through the opportunities and challenges of trying a new sport. And I want to give children the opportunity to realize that it's okay to try different things and fail at different things and learn new things. We have to provide that space for them.
I mean, hint, hint, you should do one on dance.
I think I'm going to try to do as many different. You're right, because we shouldn't say that children are only capable of doing baseball or dance. Like, you should be involved in as much as you can. We can't expect that a 6-year-old knows, or we know what they're gifted in. It'd be ridiculous to even think that. So exposure, I think, is the most important thing.
Yes, exposure. Try them all. Try everything. Try it all if you can, of course. I mean, I remember I had my try at basketball, and that was not the sport for me.
But you know what? You found out that, right? I mean, you had to go through that process to find out, oh, that's not really for you. And that speaks. I think sometimes also parents feel like they know what their children will be best at. And while obviously a parent has a good idea of everything encompassing of their child, we're just not, intrinsically the abilities we're not sure of, so we, let them go, let them go paint, let them go draw, let them go play baseball, get dirty, go fishing. We don't know what their gift really is at that age.
Right. Well, in light of a lot of people agreeing, disagreeing with the virus and such.